Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show. Today is Friday, January the 12th, 2024. Welcome to another eBay video. I have several topics I would like to discuss today. The first one is I want to continue the discussion from last week about unfair negative feedback and the problems many are experiencing getting it removed. I also want to talk about something that was in the news just either yesterday or the day before regarding eBay. And I think you know where I'm going with that. I'll talk about that in a second. And I would also talk about other eBay issues that have come up and I think are concerning. I'm starting the video outside today because it is a rare, partly sunny day. Heavy rain is forecast for tonight. My God, we cannot accept any more rain. We've been so flooded out here. I don't know if you guys saw my video from a couple of days ago. I want to show you. But for those of you guys who didn't, and I'm sure there were some, see that guy? He tried to drive right through the flood, right when I was there. And he got trapped in his pickup truck. And they had to actually launch a water rescue to get the guy out. So if you haven't seen that video, I put it up a couple of days ago. Check it out, and I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, heavy rain tonight, which means we're going to get flooded again. And that location, by the way, is literally right behind where I am right now. I could walk down there. Thankfully, the flood has receded for now. But we'll see what happens tonight. Now, let's talk about eBay. First of all, current events. eBay was criminally fined $3 million for the actions of some of its rogue employees / executives for the harassment of Ina Steiner and her husband 3 years ago. I'm sure you guys know about this story, so I'm not going to really get into that right now. However, keep in mind, Ina Steiner and her husband are rightly suing eBay civilly for pain and suffering and damages like that, and they deserve to be compensated for what was done to them. It's disgusting. Absolutely deplorable. Specifically, the one executive whose last name was Baugh, B-A-U-G-H. You know, one time he held a position in the U.S. government. I believe, don't quote me, I believe it may have been the Secret Service, and that may have been why he was hired by eBay to head their security department. But what he did to that poor woman and her husband is unspeakable, and I'm so glad he's in jail. That's right where he belongs. But keep in mind, these fines have to come from somewhere. Where do you guys think eventually they're going to come from? It's going to have to trickle down and come out of the pockets of the poor sellers. That's you and me, for the actions of these scumbags. And I think I should move on to a new topic before I start to lose my temper, which is something that I can do very easily. All right. Now, let's move on to talking about, I want to talk about negative feedback removal, and I also want to talk about parts compatibility. So let me jump onto that right now. In eBay Motors, eBay strongly suggests that all sellers use the parts compatibility chart, so buyers will know whether the item fits their vehicle or not. I think this is a very good idea, and I think all sellers should correctly fill out all the item specifications, part numbers, Hollander numbers, interchanges, all that, to make it easier on the buyer. The problem is, many buyers are disregarding this. Some are just outright buying items that don't fit, and some are sending absolutely ridiculous messages that make me scratch my head in disbelief. So for this part of the video, we're going to have to go inside. I'm going to load some screenshots that I want to show you that I just had this week alone. So let's do that right now. Alright guys, please pay attention to the screen. Here you see I have a set of genuine 1981 to 1987 Toyota Tercel or Corolla steel wheel center caps, hubcaps. And what does this person write and ask me? Hi, my car is Toyota Echo with 14-inch rim and the center of the wheel is 60 millimeters. Where the cap is put, can you please measure the cap if it's going to fit? Thanks. No, I do not measure anything. I am not a tailor. This listing clearly says 81 to 87 Toyota Tercel or Corolla. You cannot make parts fit vehicles that they're not intended for. This is a serious problem on eBay Motors where people think they're living in the 1950s and can juxtapose parts from car to car. Next one. Genuine 1981 to 1983 Datsun 310 center caps, hubcaps. Hello. What is the size of these? I have aftermarket rims on my Datsun and trying to figure out if these will work. No, I'm not measuring anything. Now, guys, please don't think that I'm a major dick, because I'm not. I go through a lot of trouble to make sure that my listings have the full drop-down compatibility feature up to date, and I even have a picture of the wheel that these items will fit on. I don't know why people consistently do this. It is not possible to put factory genuine parts on an aftermarket rim, but people don't seem to want to get that. But on the positive side, I explain it to them in my own inimitable way. Let's get back to the video. Now guys, I know there are some people out there that are going to think that I'm being trivial and picky, but I'm not. Because I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do by filling out the compatibility chart to the max, giving the buyers all the information they need to make a sound decision. In what world does somebody think factory Nissan parts will fit aftermarket rims? In what world does a person think parts from an 83 Toyota Corolla or Tercel will fit a 2003 Echo? You can't do it. It's not 1955 anymore, guys. It's 2024. I don't understand where this logic is coming in. It can't be done. And I always relate that message when I reply to these people. But anyway, I just thought I'd point that out. I don't know if you guys go through any of this, but if you do, I would love to hear about it. So please comment below. Now let's move on to expounding on negative feedback removal, which is what my video last week was about. I showed you that very bad buyer. I mean, this guy is the worst of the worst. That left me not one but two negative feedbacks because he purchased the same item twice from me. Not my fault. You guys all saw it. And I'm happy to report, for those of you guys that are on Facebook, I am finally in the group called Blocked Bidders on eBay. And I would suggest those of you guys who have Facebook might want to join that group. It's a very informative and entertaining group. So yeah, it's one of those places where sellers look out for each other. Okay, it's very important, I think, because on eBay, we are not allowed to leave bad feedback for a buyer, even when eBay agrees with us and say, hey, that buyer violated policy, we're going to remove the feedback. eBay will not allow us to communicate that to future buyers, and I think that's wrong. But again, I do understand their motives for not letting us, because there are some sellers that in the past did abuse the privilege. All right? The bad few ruined it for the good many. Just like back when I was in Catholic school, especially grammar school. One kid would disrupt the class and the nuns would punish the whole class. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. That being said, let me talk a little bit about some YouTube videos that I've been seeing pop up regarding eBay. This is something I've touched on in the past. I've never really expounded all that much on it, but I want to now because of some things I've seen during the week. I think most of you guys have common sense, and I think you all know what clickbait is. Clickbait is when somebody makes a YouTube video with either a misleading title or misleading thumbnail to try and get you to click on their video and watch it so they can gain income. It's a common but deceptive practice, and it's getting out of hand. There's a very easy way to spot such a video. The misuse of the most dreaded red arrows. Example, let's say somebody makes a title for a video, I am leaving eBay for good. And they have arrows pointing this way, that way, everywhere but up their nose. All those red arrows, that's a warning sign right there. And when they say they're leaving eBay for good and you click on the video, they're not leaving eBay for good. Once you watch the video, they say, well, I was thinking about leaving eBay for good, but I'm not going to. That is deceptive, and I can't stand clickbait videos. A second example would be what I call the dollar sign videos. Watch this video and you will make $10,000 a month on eBay guaranteed. And boom, boom, dollar signs all over the thumbnail. All right? Let me explain why this is wrong. Number one, if this person really was making $10,000 a month on eBay, they would be telling you their trade secret because they'd be cutting their own throat. Number two, if they really were making $10,000 a month on eBay, they wouldn't have time to be cranking out these videos 3 and 4 a week. It's impossible. They're making money, but they're making it on YouTube by putting these misleading videos out, and the lemmings are clicking on it and watching it, and who knows what happens after that. I don't know. Now, conversely, let's talk about some positive videos. I think anybody that puts out a video that addresses the hard-hitting topics is a video worth watching. And I hate to beat my own drum here, folks, but I think I'm one of the people that has always done that since 2007 when I started making videos. So I stumbled upon a video the other day that I think is worth talking about. Another eBay seller who's quite popular made a video discussing the case that I just talked to you about regarding unfair negative feedback and the trouble he's having getting it removed. I'm going by memory here. Basically, he had a cheap item listed, and a person sent him a best offer of $14, I believe it was, on the item. The seller accepted the offer, shipped the item out, the buyer got the item, and then sent him a long rambling message how the item is no good and broken, and he threw it out. So the seller responded back and said, hey buddy, I take returns for any reason whatsoever. 30-day returns, no problem. Send it back, I'll give you the full money back, which is the correct thing to say. The buyer refused to do it and claimed he threw it in the dumpster. which is very suspect in my opinion. The buyer also claimed he was going to write a long and detailed review. That's the word he used, review, about the seller. And he did. He left the seller a negative feedback. This long, unbelievable paragraph. You think what I showed you last week was long? You haven't seen anything yet. This person that left this review is full of hate. And in my opinion, maybe a little bit imbalanced. So the seller decided to use eBay's automated feedback removal tool to get it removed on the grounds, number one, he did mention a review in the comments. Number two, the seller accepts 30-day returns, any reason. Number three, the buyer admits to throwing it in the garbage. He got denied by the automated feedback tool. All right. He then called Concierge, and they refused to remove the feedback using the old cliche line, well, it's the buyer's opinion. Okay? So the seller then said he was going to call an eBay executive. I'm not going to throw out any names there. The seller says he knows an eBay executive who he's going to go to get this removed. And I checked last night, and the feedback was still up, the negative feedback. So I don't know what's going on there. I do feel bad for the seller, because he really did nothing wrong at all. He did say one thing I don't agree with. And I'm sure some of you guys watched the video and saw the comment that I'm referring to. And the seller believes that the negative feedback was left by a young teenager or a teenager. And I totally disagree with him on that, and only that point, because the paragraph was so well written and so detailed. No teenager in the year 2024 would ever, in my opinion, pen such a feedback. That's not how they roll. They use different verbiage, different terminology. And I just can't see any teenager leaving feedback like that. It was definitely left by an adult over 21. And I'm not saying over 18, I'm saying over 21. I believe it was left by one of these 20-something people who takes gaming really seriously, and that is their life, all right? That is their life. They don't worry about getting up and going to work. They worry about getting up and playing those games. That is the type of person I firmly believe left this negative feedback. But I felt it was scurrilous and unwarranted. And I get the feeling that he was fishing for a partial or full return and wanted to keep the item. That is something, guys, that's something I've talked about many times here. Do not do partial returns, okay? Don't do it. If someone wants to return something, you have to accept it, okay? Accept the return, all right? Get the full money back. Give the full money back, rather, not get. But yeah, I accept returns for 30 days, no questions asked. And there are times when people will leave negative feedback and refuse to return the item, like the joker I showed you last week. If any of you guys want to know who that was, by the way, he will be making an appearance really soon in the blocked eBay bidders group on Facebook. So check that out if you want. Okay, anything else I need to cover before I go? Sales this week have been lackluster once again. Thankfully, I haven't been shut out at all, but sales have been much slower than usual, like back in the old days. Remember how we used to make crazy money? All of us did. I know I did, and I think you did too. I really don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's because of the promoted listings standard or promoted listings advanced, or exactly what's happening. but sales have slowed up considerably. I'm still making money, but I'm just not making the amount that I'm used to. And that being said, I guess there's nothing else left to say, but I'm Crazy New York Driver, and you're not. Thank you for watching this eBay video. I hope you find my eBay videos interesting and informative, because I have always tried to address the serious, hard-hitting topics. I will never, ever come out here and tell you how to make $10,000 a month on eBay. Woo-hoo-hoo! I'm not that guy. I will also not be that guy that says eBay is bad news and never sell there. No, I'm just the opposite. I want you to sell there, okay? But there is no magic pill, okay? And if anybody tells you that, they're wrong. Guys, I hope you make a ton of money on eBay this week. Rock on and peace.